Welcome back, ladies and gents, to another episode of our Season 12 Hearthstone playthrough. I have a quest to complete either 2 wins with a rogue or warrior. I've got one of two right now, so I'm going to play a warrior deck in today's episode. And this deck is based upon the typical control warrior, though I don't have all the cards in my collection that you need for the base warrior. So some of the ones you're going to see in here, like Slam, I think you're supposed to have, no, maybe you're only supposed to have one, but Shield Bash and stuff I don't have. I've subbed in some Berserkers. These are not the best card, but people panic when they see these hit the board, so sometimes they do well for you. I do have Ragnaros. This is the one legendary that I crafted. I had a double legendary from GVG that I had, and I disenchanted it. I was a gold, so I got full value dust for it and made Ragnaros. So he's kind of the star of the deck. If you haven't won by the time Ragnaros comes out, oftentimes this guy will win you the game. You can see it is a control setup, so we've got Execute, Whirlwind, Win Axe. Berserkers are not typical in this deck. Armor Smith is very typical. Taskmaster, Shield Block to gain some armor, Acolyte to draw cards, Death's Bite to trigger some either card draw or armor gains when it dies. Azure Drake, Kokron. This is pretty standard stuff. The one that you don't see a lot is Bomb Lobber. This is my own tech for this deck. It's worked out fairly well. The randomness can sometimes shoot you in the foot, but it's not too bad. So we're going to get into it today. It shouldn't be too tough to win with this deck at the current rank that we're at, which is 19. So we'll switch it up here, Custom Warrior, and give it a shot.
Versus Uther. I will fight with honor. Victory or death.
Not a bad opening draw. Whirlwind probably not the best. Shield Block's okay here. Win Axe is what you want to see. I'm going to chuck the Whirlwind back and see if I can get something better. Not great. I was hoping for maybe an Acolyte or an Armor Smith early. If this is the Paladin deck that uses the Quartermaster, I could be in a bit of trouble. I just don't have that strong of AoE removal to deal with that sort of thing. Berserker is a good draw here. We can bounce it off of any little foot soldier guys that he makes. Berserker is still a good response to this.
It's time for a little blood.
Other option would have been Win Axe, obviously, but I want to save that for something that has 3 health.
I wonder.
He's wondering how he can play around the Berserker right now. And I don't think that there is truly a way he can do it other than making a recruit and taking one 5 damage hit from this. Well, he's gone deep on dealing with the Berserker. As I had said in the intro, a lot of people overreact to that card. So I got a 2-for-1 out of it, and it's a pretty good deal if you can do that. Armor Smith is a good play here. Though Shield Block would be okay too. We could play next turn the Win Axe and the Armor Smith if we played Shield Block here. Plus we'd start our card advantage, which is really what the Control Warrior excels at, is card advantage. So I think the better play is to go with the shield block. Though he is running buff cards, which can get a little bit sketchy with an Ardent Squire if he buffs behind the Divine Shield. We do have Whirlwind to knock it off, though. So this is not an overly conventional deck. I think he's playing kind of somewhat of an aggro Paladin. So here we could play the Armor Smith and Whirlwind. We could play Winax. I kind of like the Armor Smith Whirlwind one here a little bit better.
Armor made to fit.
It gets rid of the Wolf Rider and it knocks the Divine Shield off, plus it gives us extra armor. So we need to survive, basically. This is an aggro deck. This might be the Noble Sacrifice card. And that's okay if it is. We can Cruel Taskmaster the Bluegill. We could use our Charge, Kokron Elite, which I don't think is the right play here. I think what we'll do is we'll take the Bluegill out with the Taskmaster.
Back to work.
And we'll play the War Axe just to test for the Noble Sacrifice secret. There it is. I'd rather take the 2 damage there than on the Armor Smith, because I can still just keep bumping the Armor Smith off, getting more and more armor. We could have a couple options. We can either start spell damaging or get our Azure Drake out, spell damage, draw a card. We could get aggressive and start charging in with the Kokron, or we could get defensive and put the Sludge Belcher in place. And I think given that he's aggro and his creatures are going to have, say, 1 to 3 health, if we draw a Whirlwind with the spell damage card out, we wipe his board. So the Azure Drake is the way to go here. We won't attack. We're going to save our War Axe.
To Northrend.
That was strange. I don't mind taking the 4 damage on my hero to break that bubble, and then we could put the Armor Smith out and Whirlwind.
I wonder.
And what does that leave us with? 4. We could still put the Kokron out as well.
Armor made to fit.
Oops, I played that wrong. I wasn't gonna do that. Okay. Well, we'll switch it up here a little bit. I must have just got dazed. I was gonna Whirlwind to kill that with leaving my Azure Drake up. It was a bit of a misplay, but we should still be okay. Wow, he's going all in with the charge and buff. So we need to be a bit defensive here. Sludge Belcher looks like a fairly good play. That'll leave us 4. We could put the Loot Hoarder out as well and armor up.
Strike.
I didn't attack the Arcane Golem at all. I want to see if I can draw into an Execute, which would make that trade very beneficial for me. I could put the Loot Hoarder in to get the damage on, or I could Whirlwind. Quality's not going to do a ton for him here. He still has to go through the 2 taunts. So it really didn't do a lot for him, because I can still put the Loot Hoarder in and kill the Arcane Golem, draw a card. Lotheb, I think, is the play here, so that he doesn't have a buff. And we'll Bomb Lobber. Just to keep the tempo pushing forward. The Bomb Lobber would have been more useful if he had a better character on the board, but this is fine too. We're trying to prevent him from buffing any characters, so the more we keep his board clear, the better off we are. That took his entire turn because of the Lotheb, so we're still in very good shape. At this point, I think he's done. What do we got here? Yeah, we've got it lethal. Yeah, we completed the quest, so that's good. I don't think we have enough for another pack, so we're not going to open one yet today. Let's play one more game with the warrior just to get a bit of a feel for it. It does play fairly strong, though I don't have all the cards that the typical control warrior wants. But this deck, for a budget-wise, I mean, it's not overly budget because of the Ragnaros. You could sub out the Ragnaros for something bigger, like an ogre or something like that, and still make this deck work okay. Bomb Lubber is not good in the initial draw. Taskmaster not really either. The only one that I like here is Acolyte of Pain. That's not a lot of improvement, but you know, hopefully we can draw into something. Nothing to do here on turn 1, so we'll just pass. He may not be Mech Mage. I mean, Mech Mage typically has a turn 1. Well, he is Mech Mage. Loot Hoarder is definitely the play here. He'll Fire Blast it, and we'll get our draw. We can slam next turn onto the Micro Machine. He didn't Fire Blast, so we're gonna get an even better trade here. Let's just think about this before we do it. We could coin out a Death's Bite and take out the Spider Golem. Or we could slam the Micro Machine. Nope. Death's Bite is the way to go. Whoops. I just wrecked his opening, and oftentimes when you wreck a Mech Mage's opening, it's very difficult to recover from that. We still have some very good responses to a Mech Mage here, like the Sludge Belcher. The Slam is a very good one as well. Berserker trades well with the Mech Mage cards. The play here is to not let him lock us down with the Snow Chugger. So we need to figure out the best way to do that. And a Kokron Elite might be the way to go. He'll Fire Blast it next turn for the kill, but that'll only leave him 3 mana. So his plays will be limited. The other option we have is to attack face, break the Death Bite, and slam. But we want to use that in the... Well, we could use that before to draw the card and then attack face. But I think I like using the Kokron here.
For the War Chief! For Hellscream!
It'll give him a very tempting Fire Blast target, which will leave him 3 mana, limiting his options. So we could slow down a little bit, which may be the way to go by using a Sludge Belcher. We could put an Amani out, which will threaten a bump off of his Annoyatron next turn and an Enrage. I think I like the Sludge Belcher the best here. We'll slow the game down as much as possible for him. Fireball. Sheep. Wow, that's not a typical card in a Mech Mage deck. So here we could play the Acolyte, attack into the Annoyatron, draw a card, then use the Cruel Taskmaster to kill, which will give us some board presence and a bit of card draw. More card advantage is always good. Let's go with that play. It's not great. Certainly not a great play. I'm gonna go with this one instead of the Taskmaster. Okay, good draw. I'm happy with that play.
I can fix anything.
That's a tough one to deal with. I wish we had a Kokron Elite here. Options. We could bump into the Sky Golem and then execute it. That would give us a card draw.
What now?
And then we could play the Bomb Lobber and hopefully take out whatever comes out of there. We could Whirlwind and do the same thing, which would give us 2 card draw. But would it allow us? Yeah, it would still allow us to play the Bomb Lobber. Let's go with that. I want to gain as much card advantage as I can.
I must choose.
I'm going to go with the Death Bite here instead, just to make sure we take this out. We are at extreme card advantage at this point, which is good. That's what you want to do as a control warrior. We've dragged the game out long enough now that a Ragnaros is a possible draw. He does have sheep though, which is a very good way of dealing with Ragnaros. I would like to pull... Oh, that's too bad. I would like to pull a Sludge Belcher here, just to slow things down. Couple options here. We could do Taskmaster on the Ooze, and then Bomb Lobber, which takes 7 mana. We could Azure Drake Whirlwind, which would be a pretty good one as well. It does take the Azure Drake down to 2 though. We could Berserker with the Azure Drake and then Whirlwind, which would be a pretty good play. Let's go with that one. It's an interesting one anyway.
Time for a little blood.
Didn't work out too well for us, because he can just Fire Blast and then trade in. It might have been better to go with the Bomb Lobber strategy. That doesn't seem worthwhile to me. I don't think he got a ton of value out of that. Bomb Lobber Kokron is the play here.
Special delivery!
For the war chief! For Hellscream!
Something needs tinkering?
We really don't have a ton of good answers to the Sky Golem. We could execute it. Save our guys to respond to whatever pops out of there. Which might be the best we could do. It's likely his most powerful card in his deck.
Back to work! Feel the power of the winds.
I think straight trades here are probably what we should do, but we need to draw a card first before we do that. Okay. Doesn't help us this turn, but we can essentially trade away. Yeah, I'll put Acolyte out.
Speak to me.
Behold the magnificent aerial command unit! Special delivery!
Bring the pain.
I was hoping he'd be at less cards by this point in the game, so that he had limited options. He still has a fair amount of cards in hand, and that worries me a little bit. We don't currently have a good answer, or a very tradable answer to the Azure Drake. So we'll draw a card first. Armor Smith isn't going to do much. I do want to get the Azure Drake down So the only way to do that is to play the War Axe and put the Taskmaster in as well. And we'll make sure that we play the Armor Smith so we gain the armor from the Cruel Taskmaster.
No problem.
And we might as well chuck the Berserker out there too. Frostbolt. Oh, Fireball. Wow. Yeah, he saw that the Snow Chugger was going to go down if he didn't take that guy out. The play here is to use the War Axe against the Snow Chugger. Still don't have a good answer for the Shredder, which is unfortunate. But I think that's what the play is going to have to be. Actually, it might be better to take out the Shredder so that he can't trade into the Armor Smith next turn. And yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do.
Who you want me killed?
Should I force the Fire Blast here? Or go face? I'm going to go face.
Strike.
Severely out of cards at this point. This is not a good situation for a control warrior to be in.
Mage.
Who you want me killed?
I'm not going to use the Berserker against the Stalker because he could just Fire Blast it. And so I'm going to take out the Stalker with face and keep going, wearing him down. We're still in an okay position. I mean, as far as card advantage goes, we've got it. Unfortunately, the cards we have on board are just not very strong at this point.
I'm almost out of cards.
Strike.
Back to work. Who you want me killed?
Strike.
That could be it for him unless he's got a Flame Strike.
You win.
Hard fought victory there, really. That was anybody's game up until the end. Well, not too bad for playing a sort of gimped control warrior. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next episode.